Tecnas unboxing, finally. This is the first couple sets that have arrived direct from Taiwan. We're going to open these up, show you what comes inside the box, and talk a little bit about the spring options. So let's pop these bad boys open. The reason we did the straps is we don't trust the tape. This box, by the way, is custom fitted for the shocks. The standard box that our manufacturer had was bigger, so there was a lot of packing and they would kind of slosh around, so we actually brought the box down in size, so it's just the size of the shocks, so they fit nice and tight. That allows us to basically ship them for a little bit less, which allows us to lower the price of the shocks. So it's all planned, no accidents there. And also, we ship these internationally exactly like this. These will survive, you know, a shipment to Australia or Sweden or Japan or, you know, wherever it is they happen to be going. Just like this, we put the label on and out they go. But so our criteria is you got to be able to slide them off the back of the FedEx truck and have them hit the ground and not damage the shock. Open them up. You've got our little card here. This is the Destructions serial number, which matches the serial number on the box and the serial number on the shock, so you can tie that all together. There's a QR code there, scan that, and basically opens up your account on our website and the instructions and videos and whatnot, and a picture of me driving a race car. Spanners, the adjuster knobs. We ship the adjuster knobs off the shocks to help the shocks from being damaged. So you just use a 2mm Allen key, or I think it's a 5/64 SAE Allen key will work to put these on. Layer of cardboard on the top, and there's your shocks. So pretty simple, straightforward. These come fully assembled. Now what we've done here, these are the standard springs. I'm going to go ahead and peel these apart, peel the foam off of them. And the standard has a really long spring. Because it's soft, relatively soft, with only a 6 and 4 kilo rates, the spring will compress enough that we don't need helpers. We use a very, very long spring. So this is the front shock. What's important here, I notice the preload collars are already snugged. We basically preset the preload. This isn't just like a random setting. We basically chose the amount of preload that's in these as a starting point. So when you first put them on the car, you'll get a useful ride height. It may not be the exact ride height that you want, but you'll be able to drive it. It's not going to be like on the bump stops or like super 4x. It'll be somewhere in the middle of the range. You'll be able to put them on, drive around the block a couple times, get your bushings to settle, pull back into the garage and start measuring and go, okay, now I know I want to go up and down a couple millimeters. Now, rear obviously is much shorter. Most of the magic with Tecnas is the rear shock. We did a lot of engineering to get these to work the way we wanted to. Now you notice it's a much shorter shock, but you'll see the spring can go almost all the way down to the very lower mount. We use an offset mount because if you're familiar with an NA and B Miata, the half shaft is right there, and that basically gives you it basically pushes the shock out from the half shaft. QR code there, it's the same as the QR code on the top there, so if you lose that card, you can scan this and get your instructions on your phone. So they come standard with the rubber boots, steel shock bodies, billet aluminum tops, factory MB mounts, and then there's your adjuster. We will also have remote adjustable cables. Those will be on the website here the first couple weeks of February, and it's essentially a cable that allows you, for your back shock, you don't need them for the fronts obviously, that'll allow you to keep the divider that's in the trunk still in the car and just run the adjuster to it and adjust your shocks without having to pull all the liners out. So that's the basics. Let's show you the sport shocks. So these are the sport shocks. This is the standard sport spring. This is sport right on the spring, and you see it's got the high rate helper here and the rear. And these are the standard springs that come with them. We have an option for Swift springs for some people that just want the extra bling. There's some additional functionality. The Swift spring is basically this main spring. It's still the same standard SuperMiata helper, but it's a Swift mainspring. If you're curious what the difference is, Swifts are basically your top of the line motorsport springs. They're quite a bit more expensive than our standard springs. These save roughly 2 pounds over the whole set in terms of the spring weight. They also have more stroke. In other words, they can collapse further, and that allows you a little bit more ride height adjustment range. So everything else being equal, if your ride height adjustment range with our standard springs, let's say it's this much, it's going to be a little tiny bit more with the Swifts. You're going to get a little bit more height or a little bit more lowering range with the Swift springs. So that about covers it for the unboxing. Stay tuned in about a week or so for our part 2 deep dive technical video. If you have any questions, reach out to us, info@949racing.com, and we will see you at the track.